This episode is brought to you by Marvel Studios Echo. All episodes streaming January 9th, only on Hulu and Disney+. Rated TV MALV. Viewer discretion advised. Maya Lopez has betrayed her mentor, the notorious Kingpin. Now on the run, she returns to her hometown to prepare for the biggest fight of her life. Don't miss Marvel Studios' hardest-hitting series yet. An epic 5-episode event. Marvel Studios Echo. All episodes streaming January 9th, only on Hulu and Disney+.
Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And it's Caroline.
We're back for part 2.
Part 2, your favorite, Casey Anthony.
She's nobody's favorite ever.
She has 0 people who like her.
So I've done no research on it since then. So I'm ready to hear part 2. Hopefully you guys out there did not do much research or you don't remember, the rest of the story because it did happen a long time ago.
Yeah.
But before that, quick announcement. Andrew G. If you're local, you know who he is. If you've listened to our other episodes, he was on our Dennis Nielsen B-Team Serial Killer episode. He was one of our guests. So much fun. He is actually going to be our host for our live show on June 18th. So you get to hear another familiar voice. He's got a great voice. So he's going to introduce us. He's going to be fun. He's going to do a little something during the intermission. So hopefully you're excited about that. Shout out to Andrew G for being our MC.
MC, look at us. Look at us go.
I know. We're even more official.
100%. I got nothing to say.
Yeah, Caroline's real tired. She's had a very eventful weekend.
Too many things, too many days in a row. 4 days. Way too many things.
And you
happening.
didn't get to go to bed at 9 o'clock any of those days, did you?
No, I did not.
So she's real behind on sleep.
Real behind.
Wow.
I had to like wear makeup every day. I had to get dressed every day, sometimes multiple times a day.
No way. It was a wedding, right?
Yes.
Yes. And you were in the wedding, so that's even...
No, I wasn't. I don't know why I had to do all these things. I wasn't even in the wedding.
They were like, let's go ahead.
There was like a brunch, and there was a bridal lunch, and another brunch, and a
on the
dinner.
same wedding day, all
Thursday,
that?
there was 2 things Thursday, 2 things Friday, 2 things Saturday. I skipped 1 thing Saturday because I had to sleep. Or I just laid in the bed until like 3 o'clock.
Wow.
So,
they stayed married for a long time.
Same.
It's a lot of work for a wedding.
But we had some funny stories.
Good.
But yeah, it was good.
Good. So while you're at the wedding, we talked about Gonzalo being caught and my steering wheel is officially empty. I need another picture to put on my steering wheel.
I literally was talking about the podcast to every single person I talked to or met.
Yeah.
And yes, I remember seeing that. And I went in and I was like, y'all, Gonzalo Lopez is still out there. And now he's just killed 5 people.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, because you're in Georgia, right? I guess it wasn't a big deal in Georgia.
I was telling my family from Texas. No idea.
They should be fired.
They had no idea. I said, obviously none of y'all listen to my podcast.
Or the news.
And then the other side, so the groom, the people who were friends with the groom were trying to get dirt on my cousin who was the bride. And so they had this like, they were in this room with this big long rectangle table, and it was just like a group of like 6 of his friends. And they were trying to call like me in there, my sister in there, my other sister in there, trying to get dirt. And so I was like, okay. And I went in there and I said, y'all, I do have some dirt. I'm going to need you to go ahead and pull out your phone, open Spotify, go ahead, open Spotify and type in Bloody Happy Hour.
And the dirt comes out on the episode.
And they're thinking that these are going to be episodes, something about her. And I was like, oh, that's just my podcast. So go listen. And
how weird that they want to find dirt like the day of or the night before the wedding.
I don't know.
Were they going to like stand up and like object?
I don't know.
Well, let's dive into some Casey.
Let's go. So we ended off last time with what she was charged with. Right? Remember? Well, so she's charged with neglect of a child. Making false statements. So after she gets charged, Cindy, which is her mom, sits down with police, talks to them about the car, because remember the car was at the impound.
Yes.
And when she gets it back from the impound, she told them that it had trash in the trunk, like a trash bag. And she says it was like a pizza box with maggots. Okay, so now it does not smell like a dead body. It smells like pizza with maggots.
And now she knows what's in the trash bag when before she said she just threw it away.
Yes.
She knew what was in it.
So some people speculate that what happened is whenever Casey, I guess, went to a dumpster, got a trash bag out of the dumpster, put it in her car, and took out whatever, like the body, Kaylee's body, and then put it where she put it, and in order to like cover up the smell of the body. I heard that on another podcast. So this, we don't know for sure if that's what it is, but so the mom's saying it smells like rotting pizza or pizza with maggots. And they're like, you actually already admitted on the 911 call that it smells like a dead body. So now she's trying to retract her statement and just take it back and be like, oh, I was just doing that as an analogy, whatever. They end up bringing dogs in. So then the dogs can test to see if they like
smell a cadaver.
Yes. And of course they start going crazy around the trunk of the car.
What? I didn't know that.
And then the bottom of the trunk, there was a small stain, which was the size of a small body. And they take the carpet out of the trunk, and then they confirmed that there was decomposition. And there was also a strong there was chloroform. Do you remember this part?
No.
They tested, there was chloroform along the trunk of the car. And they did a DNA testing, and then they found a hair, and I guess the hair didn't have the follicle. But, okay. They said on the hair through mitochondria, they tested it, and it came back saying that the hair was either Cindy, Casey, or Kaylee's. But the hair was longer than Casey's hair, and it was untreated. And Cindy's hair had been treated, so then they determined that it was Kaylee's hair. Also, the hair had what was called like a decomposition band on it, I guess, when they look at it through the microscope. And this band is like a dark band that can appear on the hair when the body is decomposing.
Oh.
So there you go.
Sounds like some great evidence to me.
Investigators also seized the family computer, try to find evidence to see what was happening on the computer, what they were looking for. And they noticed that someone had been using the computer to Google search how to make chloroform.
What does chloroform do?
Chloroform is what makes the plants green. So...
Oh, I thought that was chlorophyll.
Well, there's chlorophyll, there's chloroform. I think I'm about to tell you about it. They tell Cindy that on the computer they found that someone was searching for chloroform, and they asked her to explain. And she said she was searching for chlorophyll on the computer because her dogs were eating bamboo in the backyard, and she wanted to make sure that it wasn't toxic. And during the search, it pulled up chloroform, and so she clicked it. Chlorophyll is what makes a plant green. So I don't know why she was searching for chlorophyll and not just something like, is bamboo toxic to my dogs?
Is chloroform what's used to suffocate people? Is that what they put over their nose?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like cleaning aid.
Well, maybe it is too.
Okay.
So after they're digging into this and they realize like Cindy wasn't even home at the time the computer search was made. And so it was proven that Casey was the only one home when the search was made. So I don't know why Cindy is trying to cover for Casey this whole time. Or yes.
Now, because
like she changed her story. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know. I mean, did she like really? Maybe she's been doing that for her whole life, I guess.
Yes, I thought about that. But then why were you so adamant about these police coming? And
I think because at first she really didn't think Casey.
Worried.
Yeah, she didn't think Casey had anything to do with it. And then she realized, Casey has everything to do with it. Now let me just
I don't
cover
need
for
that
her.
to come out. Yeah.
Ugh.
Shit. But that's your grandbaby.
I know. So Cindy eventually goes down to jail to visit Casey and decided this was a good time to ask her about Zanny, the nanny.
Okay.
So she's like, what does Zanny look like? You know, I have no idea what she looks like. The police are asking me, do you have any photos? Like, can I describe them? I don't know what she looks like. And Cindy tells Casey that police told her that Casey could not even pick Zanny out of a lineup. So she's like getting mad, and she's like, why do you not know why can you not tell anybody what she looks like? Well, because she doesn't
you said she's a 10.
You did say she's a 10. So earlier, so it says it just so happens that earlier on, an officer did show Casey a photo of a woman by the name Zenaida Gonzalez, but the officer showed Casey a picture of this lady. Casey did not recognize her as Zenaida Gonzalez because there really is a Zenaida Fernando Gonzalez lady out there. And then Casey's like, oh, that's not her. I don't recognize. I mean, so she just made up this complete fake person. I don't know, but whenever she's telling these stories, she is so quick on details and the stuff that she made, like the person. I mean, she makes up so much stuff. Like some other guy even testified, it was supposedly this Zanny the nanny was keeping Kaylee and another guy's kid. And then this other guy goes and testifies like, I've never even met Casey. I don't even have a kid. Like, I have no idea what's happening.
She's a great, horrible liar.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's almost like the story was so crazy that you couldn't not believe it.
Yeah. It's like, it's
because
gotta
you're like,
be
you
true.
can't make all that up. So a couple of months later, Zanny files a defamation lawsuit against Casey. Okay, we'll see where that goes. So when Cindy and George visit Casey in jail, it's been about a month at this point, and they tell her like people are saying that Kaylee is dead, and of course Casey just rolls her eyes and says, "Surprise, surprise."
Oh,
yep. So she really cares.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
What? She's so rude.
Siri is trying to be on the podcast. So Cindy asked Casey what her gut was telling her. Like, what is your gut telling you? What do you think? Where do you think she's close? Do you think she's nearby? And Casey says that she believes that Kaylee is not far. So she ends up hiring this attorney, Jose Baez. Okay. Well, Jose Baez writes a letter to the sheriff's office about Casey, how she's willing to cooperate, and she, just, I guess this way she can then post like bail and get out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
So once she posts bail, she gets out. She's given an electronic monitoring device to wear around, and she goes back to her parents' house. So the media at this point is going crazy.
I bet her parents even paid for her to get out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did. Yeah. So the media is going crazy. They're swarming the house, outside, waiting in the driveway, on the lawn. And of course, the public's outrage reminds me a lot of the whole Brian Laundrie thing with all these people surrounding the house. And they were just so mad, like, that she was released and able to go home. Well, after, I think there's a few, like, there's altercations outside of the house because there's constant media around and everybody's getting super stressed out. And then, you know, Casey's very unlikable. Nobody likes her. Everybody thinks she's guilty. She's arrested again on August 29th for something that had nothing to do with the case. And it was for writing. This
Checks.
is where it was for
Okay.
writing the checks.
Okay.
For like $650. But she wrote 4 checks.
Gosh.
So then she gets arrested again. So then Casey's parents post
No.
her bail and get her out again.
No.
Yes. I just don't know why her parents like her.
I don't know.
I don't.
And I guess.
I mean, they just
the mother's
keep bailing
love
her
is
out.
unconditional, but my goodness.
Then on December 11th, 2008, less than 1 mile from the Anthony's home, a city worker, utility meter worker guy was out working, and he sees something off the road, and he said it looks kind of like a skull.
What?
And then he poked it with a stick, which contaminated it.
Oh my gosh.
So so I've heard 2 things. I heard he was like, "Oh, that's a skull," but poked it anyway.
Yeah.
But then I'm like,
But what can a stick do?
exactly. I don't think he can do anything. So he realized it was a skull, and he was like, "Oh shit, this is a real skull." So he calls 911. He said supposedly he reported it like 3 different times. They didn't take him serious. They let it go for a little bit, and then a couple of months later, it was still there. And he went and called the police again because nothing ever came of it. And then they finally came.
Great job, Orlando. PD.
And then they find that skull, and they're like, "Oh, we found a skull." And the skull had like duct tape on it. So like apparently the lower jaw, the mandible, was still attached. And apparently whenever, because it had been like 6 months at this point. So typically what would happen is, you know,
That's
you're
usually
only
the
connected.
first
Yeah, because
thing.
you're only connected together with cartilage or whatever, ligaments. And so there was duct tape, and that's why it was still together.
Because it kept it.
Because it somehow kept it. Wow. I don't know. That's what I've.
Yeah, that's usually the first thing to go.
So they also found they found a bag which had the rest of the bones in it. And then they had a baby blanket with Winnie the Pooh. And it was like in another laundry bag. So there was, I guess, just a laundry bag with this stuff in it. They obviously immediately knew it was the remains of a child. So then a few days later, on December 19th, police announced that the DNA testing had confirmed that the remains did belong to Kaylee.
Oh, Kaylee.
They got a warrant for the Anthony house, and that's when they discovered that Kaylee's room was Winnie the Pooh themed. And so it matched the blanket. And they also found like another, like a twin laundry bag to the one that they had found everything in. That was like the matching laundry bag, I guess.
one, yeah.
Like apparently these laundry bags came in a set of 2. And then there was one at the house, and there was one where her body was found.
So, remember the day there was a big argument, and she got Kaylee, and they packed up their things, and they left. So I wonder if that's like when it happened. Because for there to be bones in a bag, she waited until the body totally decomposed, which is why her car smelled a certain way, and then ditched the bones, not the body. If bones were in a bag,
Yeah, I didn't think about that because do they not decompose if they're in a bag? I guess, but animals would eat it if it wasn't in a bag.
She didn't dump she didn't kill her and then dump her because her car wouldn't have smelled like a dead body. And why would there be bones in a bag? I don't know. That's just my thought.
I know. Well,
definitely not an investigator.
Clearly. Where was I? Okay, the laundry bag was only sold in pairs. So these two specific items made it clear that whoever killed Kaylee was not a stranger to the house, and they would have had access. So now she's being charged with first-degree murder.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Then we have the media now at this point is completely ripping this family apart. Okay, because they're being nasty to the parents. Just they think that they're helping them out. Because she keeps bailing them out. I mean, Cindy probably deserved it, but at this point, George, maybe not. I mean, they're both guilty of helping her out.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you in a little bit. Well, do you know about the George thing?
I think.
Okay. So January 2009, George is not doing well. He's like he started staying in a hotel, and now he starts like mixing drugs and alcohol, and he has a suicide attempt.
Yes.
So someone had called the police. So apparently he was like constantly looking for her. Like every single day he was out there looking for Kaylee. So I'm assuming that he just got a hotel because he just is like looking for her out here, looking for her here, stay in the so police end up doing a wellness check for him. They find he's safe, but then they realize that he did try to kill himself, and he had this like a suicide note and everything. And of course the defense later on turns this around into he was trying to kill himself because he's guilty or that he did it. So he's obviously taking this the hardest.
Yes.
Based on most of the evidence. So on May 24th, 2011, the trial begins. And normally George and Cindy, who are the parents, would not have been allowed in the courtroom because they were witnesses. I don't know.
Yeah. You're not.
So, but they were allowed because they were the grandparents. And as long as they showed no emotion.
It's hard to do.
So if they did show emotion, they would be told to leave, which then this was something that they were later scrutinized for, because why did they show no emotion ever?
Yeah.
But so it's like a double-edged
sword. I think when you testify or when you're a witness, you can't sit in there until after you testify.
Oh, yes.
You can't be like in the audience until after you testify because they don't want what you've already heard to taint what you were going to testify.
You said taint.
Is it taint?
Yeah, that's right. That's because that's what happened with Whitney Heard and the
the sister?
She couldn't be in
Her
there.
only friend?
Yeah. I don't even think they're friends. They're just related.
Are you about to listen to something?
Yes. So obviously Casey was lying throughout her whole life, to be honest. And throughout this investigation. So there's no nanny, there's no job at Universal. At the time she said there was a job. And so the question is, how do you live? Like, why are you always lying? Why? What caused this?
Uh-oh.
And this is going to be the defense's I'm going to play a clip of Jose Baez, which is her attorney. And then I'll explain it.
Okay.
Brought us into this world and how we were raised. Casey was raised to lie. This child, at 8 years old, learned to lie immediately. She could be 13 years old, have her father's penis in her mouth, and then go to school and play with the other kids as if nothing ever happened. Nothing's wrong.
What?
That will help you understand why no one knew that her child was dead. That's the most important thing you must keep in the back of your mind, is that sex abuse does things to us. It changes you. Some people are fortunate some people are fortunate to live with it. Others are not. And in this sad tragedy, it had to happen to Casey.
Wow.
Uh-huh. So, do we keep this on? Casey said that when she was 8 years old, her dad began to molest her. And apparently her and her attorney came up with this as this was going to be their defense. And that she didn't kill Kaylee, that the dad did. And like, this is why she learned to lie so much, is because she was
Taught to.
So, I mean, okay.
And supposedly this is the daddy. He's the daddy of the baby of Kaylee. The
Who?
daddy is the daddy
The daddy's the daddy?
of Kaylee. Anthony?
George is Casey's dad.
Yes. But if he was raping her, did he also father Kaylee?
Oh.
That's what I'm asking.
Well,
Didn't that come up?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. So eventually George takes the stand. George is the dad, right? So eventually he takes a stand and he says he did not molest his daughter. Their proof was that Casey didn't go to the gynecologist until she was 7 months pregnant. And this was the first time she had ever been to one. So
How's that proof?
don't.
That's actually a little sketch.
I guess if you had been like molested,
They
you would
can
have
tell.
to. Maybe that's what it means. They could tell.
The gynecologist can tell if something is broken, your hymen or something like that. So I would think it would be proof that she had gone to the gynecologist at a certain age and the hymen wasn't broken.
Well, apparently she had never been, so maybe that would have had to have caused injury if you're 8 years old.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I mean, unless
Maybe.
it's just like, I don't know. Well, so George is just sitting there. He's in court. He has no idea that this is even going to be said. And he cannot he can't make a reaction. So he's just sitting there hearing this, being accused of this for the first time, like blank face.
Oh,
You know, like
Yeah.
he can't even react.
yeah.
But he obviously, I mean, how, I don't know.
How shitty is she?
Just,
If she's making this up, which I think she is.
yeah.
Even if she's not, she's a liar and nobody's going to ever believe her.
Yeah.
But she's just saving herself at the expense of everybody.
Yeah. So this is a total shock to him. He is just like, no words. He had no idea this was coming. And of course, Cindy, the wife, is just sitting there. She doesn't, I don't know what she's thinking. She just is probably like, oh, well, it's okay. But here are the theories of of what happened. So the prosecution comes and gives their theory of what the story is. It's that Casey Anthony killed her daughter by using chloroform to knock her unconscious, used duct tape to cover her mouth and block her airways. Casey then wrapped Kaylee in her favorite blanket, put her body in the trunk of the car, then went to her boyfriend's the next day. And then the next day, they believe that she took Kaylee's body and put it into the woods and put it in a trash bag. Okay. Here's the defense's theory. Cindy was at work and George and Casey were looking for Kaylee. They said that George found Kaylee drowned in the pool and yelled at Casey, "Look what you've done. Your mother will never forgive you." And then George helped her dispose of the body by wrapping Kaylee in a plastic bag, just like he would do when their pets died.
That's just they just pulled that story out of what? Out of their ass?
Yes. Apparently, whoever Casey was jailmates with for the 5 seconds she was in jail, that was the story of the jailmate.
Oh.
So they copied the story. Cindy's theory is Kaylee accidentally drowned in the pool while Casey was watching her, and Casey must have freaked out and tried to dispose of the body but didn't realize what she was doing. Then later on, Cindy goes and says that Casey had seizures.
Wait, say all that again.
This is Cindy's theory.
Okay.
Kaylee accidentally drowned in the pool while Casey was watching her.
Okay.
And Casey must have freaked out and tried to dispose of the body, but didn't realize what she was doing.
Oh, right.
Okay. This is George's theory, the dad.
Okay. Casey
Casey was giving Kaylee Xanax.
Oh, come on, George.
Zanny.
The nanny.
The nanny. And so George believes that Casey was giving her Xanax, then calling it Zanny, like that was going to be what was going to be taking care of her and helping her sleep and to babysit her while Casey went out and partied and hung out with her boyfriend, and it gave her the freedom to do what she wanted. He thinks that she gave her too much Xanax and she didn't wake up. George is the only one with some damn sense up in here.
Right, but what's the purpose of the duct tape?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
To
That sounds like it could be right, but why would you need the duct tape?
maybe in case she woke up to make sure I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
That's why I don't think it's an accident.
Oh, I don't think it's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If it's an accident,
Yeah.
you don't need duct tape.
That's true. Well, listen, this trial was a shit show. Now, Casey's team was blaming anyone and everyone for what happened to Kaylee. This like messy. But anybody who was like paying attention, I guess most likely in the media was presenting that she's guilty.
Yes.
But this was also televised. Did you watch it ever?
No. I mean, I remember seeing it, but.
So apparently the defense was really good, and the prosecution did not like do as good of a job as the defense, which is well,
yeah,
I'll get there. So also the jurors were talking about the case outside of court, which is a big no-no, and one juror ended up selling information to like a blogger or something like. I mean, there's drama. So for some reason, Casey's team was going so hard. They're trying to point the finger at the father just to get like any guilt off of her, and there was really nothing tying him to the crime. But it turned into the circus because now they're focusing on the dad and pointing fingers at him instead of the actual case, like the actual murder and what's actually like what they were here to do.
Yeah.
So they start doing that, and it just got like they weren't even looking at facts anymore. They were just trying to.
It was it was supposed to distract them, and it did.
Yes.
Wow.
And the trial went on for like several months. I don't know how many months. July 5th, 2011 is whenever they came to their to the verdict. But so the defense had this really strong case. They were making up stuff left and right, but there wasn't enough evidence by the prosecution to obviously convince them, because after about 10 hours, the jury comes back and they have an answer, and she's not guilty.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, everybody's sitting there watching it on TV like, yeah, like, bye, bitch.
And
she gone.
Yeah.
No. I mean, everybody's shocked. Everybody's just literally, they don't know what that, like, it's like OJ all over again.
So it's like, So it's like the prosecution had the one story, which was probably the real story, but the defense kept throwing up all these other stories, but they created reasonable doubt.
Yes.
And so now the jurors couldn't go in and say, without a doubt, I believe that she did it. And then I'm sure they had a little bit of sympathy for her if
she was getting,
if they thought she was being
molested by her daddy. Yes. And they were watering it down. They watered down the whole story, and they just focused on how it wasn't her fault, and this was all done to her. Like, you know.
Tons of people have been molested. They don't kill their kids. And even if you're a liar, being a liar didn't make you kill your kids.
No.
Stupid.
So charges are made. Casey was convicted of 4 misdemeanor charges of giving false information to law enforcement. Judge Perry sentenced her to 1 year in county jail and $1,000.
What?
But at this point, Casey had already served 3 years, so she got credit, and then she got additional credit from good behavior. And so then she was actually released on July 17th. So she literally was there for like 5 days in jail, and then she gets released. Yeah. I'm thinking she was most likely giving blowjobs to the judge under the bench.
Probably.
Yeah.
Wouldn't she sleep with her lawyer too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So everybody's livid. I mean, this whole thing was on TV. The jurors then they start receiving death threats. They're getting all kinds of emails, everything. The names were kept quiet for a certain amount of time. But then after a little bit, it's like, oh, here you go. Let's just give out your names.
Yeah.
And so it was.
Here's these dumbasses. Harass them.
And yeah, I guess, well, they do. I don't know how long they have to hold the names or whatever. But anyways, they're getting death threats and probably book deals and all kinds of stuff. So after the trial, it came out that Casey had filed for bankruptcy twice, and she was unable to pay Jose. But what will she do since she cannot pay her lawyer?
Bend over.
What will she do, April? There's only one option, and obviously,
she's good at. One thing she's good at:
sexual favors. There's no other choice. It was even reported that Casey was seen completely naked in his office, and the person said they accidentally walked in on it, and they were like, "Oh shit! Oh no! Oh no!" So, I mean, apparently, it's not illegal to have sex with your lawyer.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's like frowned upon.
Just
maybe unethical.
Okay.
But
so the lawyer can't even get in trouble.
No, I mean, it's over. The trial's over. I guess
yeah,
not.
I guess so.
So I guess they were having this secret like sex relationship. But that's literally all that there's out there. That's it.
I wonder how many times equaled her bill.
I know.
And then like, is the blowjob costs more? I need to see like a itemized.
I'm sure when she does her tell-all book,
a receipt.
I think she's like tried multiple times to get a book, and nobody wants to do it because they're like, "Bitch, you did it. Just submit it." And then to make matters a little worse, remember Zenaida Gonzalez was going to do a defamation case against her. Well, good old Judge Perry, who was getting blowjobs under the bench, threw that out and said no defamation case.
Wow,
that's
Florida.
Why I think he was definitely getting blowjobs. Just tossed it right out, you know. So I don't know why. Don't know.
I could see how that could hurt Zenaida. I mean, that's not a common name. So
no, yeah.
If somebody said April Pullen stole their kid, what if I get fired from my job? What if I get looked at? What if people start unsubscribing from the podcast?
Well, then, I mean, I don't know. Better go give blowjobs to the judge. Not finished yet. 2017, it was revealed that there was a search on the family computer for, I don't know why. It's 2017. I don't know why it took so long for them to find this stuff on the computer. But apparently it said a search for foolproof suffocation.
Foolproof? Oh my gosh.
I know. And that could have only occurred while Casey was at the home, and it was discovered that 48 hours before Casey was arrested, her internet history was deleted. Well, I don't know why they found this all out after the trial.
Yeah. That's
it
6
was
years
wiped,
later.
cleaned, vanished, totally gone. And she also had done an interview in 2017 where she said she remembers waking up that morning, saying goodbye to her mom, going back to sleep, and then she woke up and Kaylee was missing. So her story keeps changing. And this is then when Cindy was talking about Casey having seizures. Like, she was known to have like, it just makes no sense. They just keep changing their stories. So also in this interview, she says that she is okay with herself and she sleeps good at night. And that Kaylee would have been 12 years old. And the interview person asked what do you think she would be like now? And she's like, oh, she'd be a total badass. She'd probably listen to classic rock and play sports and not take shit from anybody.
Oh, you robbed her of that.
Yeah, you did. So Casey then took up photography. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And then that was her new passion.
I mean, maybe when you
but she wasn't really wanting to be like a photographer of like family photographer or anything like that. She wanted to be a private investigator. Oh, she might be one now.
Yeah.
She said that the reason that she's so good at her job, I guess that means that she is a PI, is that she learned firsthand how to research people's background, search for information, and gather all information needed.
Mm-mm. Is she still in Florida?
Yes, because she's partying at the bars. Yeah.
I bet bars are paying her to come to their club.
And then she like got in some bar fight with some chick, and they called 911. Like you couldn't call 911 the day when you figured out your kid was missing, but you're gonna get in a bar fight.
Now you know the number to 911.
So George has consistently denied all the claims, and Casey said that she does not give a fuck what anybody thinks about her, and she never will.
Does she still have a relationship with her parents?
The dad does not talk to her. The mom and dad are still married.
Wow.
And the mom, I think, must occasionally talk to her, but I don't think they're like, what was that?
Hello.
I don't think they're like hanging out on every like holiday or anything. But the dad does not talk to her. The dad doesn't want anything to do with her.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't either.
Wonder where the brother likes her.
Oh yeah, the brother. I know that while she was in jail, like she had there's so much. I there's a lot of skimming over because there's just so much. But I don't know if they are talking to this day. Okay. I know they were talking while she was at least in jail. So Casey Anthony gets away with murder. It was messy, but apparently she had a douchebaggy, good enough like lawyer guy who knew what he was doing enough. I think he even worked on the OJ case.
Okay.
There was he has some other big cases. So I'm like, how did she afford it? But we know how she afforded it. She didn't afford it. And I just don't know why. She's not getting like ass kicked or anything. Like people are just letting her live her life, which she shouldn't go do that. But I guess that's why I don't know why she just is living her life. I guess because she got away with murder, so she just can't do that.
And now a word from our sponsors.
"911, what's your emergency?"
Do you hear that? It's coming from the house.
It's coming from inside the house? Do you mean? Could it be?
The Poltergeist. New from Rogue Media. Two haunted hotties talking about haunted places. Every episode we dive deep into the darkest places and give you a bit of history.
We're getting spooky in all the right places.
You've gobbled your last ghoul.
Follow along for the craziest and spookiest stories with Debbie's Dark Tourism. The Stanley Hotel,
Winchester House,
The Alamo,
Hotel Monte Vista,
and more spooky places. Find us at _Poltergals. POLTERGALS.
Look over your shoulder. It's us,
the Poltergals. Wherever you consume the podcast, you can find us there.
Hi, this is Sarah.
And I'm Carter.
And this is Some of Our Thoughts. We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and vinyl. So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded one-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that one-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that one-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at roguemedianetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a one-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.
So she's never come out and apologized to her father about lying. Her father doesn't really have a relationship with her, like I said. I'm assuming Cindy is still her ride or die. And she's over here waiting on a book deal or a Netflix documentary.
Yeah, I think she just had something come out in People in April of 2022 about how she wants to tell her story.
Yeah.
But nobody's jumping on it.
No, that's exactly.
Because it's going to be a lie.
Yes.
It's going to be a lie.
And I think that if somebody did jump on it, they would want to, they would be like, no, we're taking that detail out. We're taking that out. We're taking that out. And then Casey would like review it and would be like, no, that's not what I said.
Yeah.
Like she would want to have full control and full narrative over the whole thing.
So I remember this happening, and then I remember, and she got off. And then remember the Trayvon Martin happening, and then George Zimmerman got off. And then that's how like Florida got their thing of like you can get away with anything in Florida.
I don't
any
know.
Type of
I
murder.
don't remember any of those stories.
Trayvon Martin?
Yeah, I mean, I know the name, but I don't know the story.
Yeah, it was just a guy in his neighborhood that was Neighborhood Watch saw Trayvon walking in a hoodie and shot him because he thought he didn't live in the neighborhood. He did live in the neighborhood. So shot him, and then he got off because he said that obviously he thought it was, I don't know, self-defense. Like he had a reason to shoot him. Trayvon was like a little kid, like a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why people wore hoodies for a while. Anyway, so she got off, clearly guilty. George Zimmerman got off, clearly guilty. I think George Zimmerman ended up in jail eventually for something else. Just like OJ ended up in jail. So It's like they get punished later on for something stupid.
Yes.
But Casey's just kind of flown under the radar.
I don't know how. Well, okay. This lawyer, Jose Baez, not OJ Simpson, Aaron Hernandez. Casey Anthony, Aaron Hernandez, two other people I don't know, and then Harvey Weinstein.
Okay.
Those are some big names.
Yeah. So hire him if you kill somebody.
Shit.
Because you will be free. So
wow.
Is she guilty or innocent?
Oh, bitch is guilty.
Bitch is guilty.
Hell.
I don't know it. And I'm good. Can't get it out. I am all about hearing the other side. right?
Yeah.
And so I could even like try to think, okay, well, maybe the dad did it if he was raping her, and maybe that was like his kid and he wanted to get rid of the evidence of,
Listen,
but no, she's such a liar.
I can be easily swayed.
Yeah.
And I believe a lot of things that are unbelievable.
But not this.
I probably would believe it. If I was on the jury and you're getting both sides, things can sway you.
I think I heard the dad's, somewhere you can find the dad's letter.
I would be the worst juror because I would need to talk to one person at least. I would have to. I would have to cheat the system.
Yeah. Then you'd get the case thrown out.
I know.
But I think I heard the dad's testimony, and he was so genuine. That suicide letter was so genuine. He felt like he failed Kaylee. First, you feel like you failed your daughter because your daughter's a piece of shit, and then you failed your granddaughter.
And then Cindy over here not even doing anything about it. Cindy Handy.
Yeah.
But there you have it. Casey Anthony.
Part 2. Done. That was good. So good.
Who's going to be next? I don't know. You'll have to wait and see.
I don't know. That story was so good, but I just wish I had a picture of like what the parents' house looked like during this time.
Like the outside of the house?
The outside of the house.
I bet I can find one of those.
I'm just messing with her. I'll never let you let that down.
You never will.
Okay, y'all. So that was story number 1, week 2 of Guilty or Innocent. I'll have another one for you next week. It's not going to be a kid killer. I feel like we've been talking about kid killers for a while. So I'll surprise you. I'm still deciding between 2 stories right now. Is there anything else they need to do?
Nope. They need to go leave a review.
Yeah.
That would be nice. That would be so nice of y'all. We would love you.
Rate, review, and subscribe.
Yeah, do all of those.
If you don't follow our Facebook or Instagrams, go do that. Or Twitter, go do that right now.
Yeah.
It's all Bloody Happy Hour.
Mm-hmm.
Bloody Happy Hour podcast.
BHH. That's it. That's where you get us.
Yeah. And then most importantly, don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Bye, y'all.
Down to find the murderer.
The murderer.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.